Gareth, thank you for your time. Thanks for joining us on Sky Sports News. Can we start with Lauren Hemp? I saw, obviously, she was absent from the training session, certainly the bit we saw today. I know she had to leave the England camp. Can you give us an update on her fitness and where she's at?
Yeah, well, she obviously picked up something quite slight from the Reading game. So we'll find out a little bit more over the next 24 hours whether she'll be available or not. But we took the precaution over the last few days to keep her out of the training practices. And like I say, we'll have some news in 24 hours.
And apart from that, are you happy with the minutes that your players got over the last week or so?
Yeah. I mean, look, a lot of these things are out of your control. Some players needed some minutes, some players probably didn't. We have good communication with all of the nations, pre-camp, post-camp as well. Sometimes we agree on the plan, sometimes we don't. I think it's part and parcel these days. There's big demands on players, like I've spoke of previously, and trying to gain them some relative or opportunity to recover or rest is really difficult.
I had a little chat with Dana Castellanos a little while ago. She had a pretty good break. We spoke about her goal from the halfway line. That was something pretty special, and not the first time she's done it either.
Yeah, she's got that ability to be able to do it, and I think it was a moment of real class from her, spotting the goalkeeper was off the line, and to execute that as well is no mean feat. But again, she's done really well, Dana. She's brought a lot to the team, both on and off the pitch. Really good personality, really good work ethic, and like I say, shows that bit of quality as well.
Does she practice things like that in training? Do you see that kind of skill from her on a weekly basis?
Well, we know it's there. We know she's got really high ability. I wouldn't say we practice that too many times, shooting from the halfway line. But yeah, of course, she saw the moment. She let the ball across her body, spotted the goalkeeper off the line. So, fair play. She did really well.
And how is she settling in terms of her position in the team? Obviously, she plays a little bit further forward, I think, for Venezuela than she does here. But how have you noticed her adapt to what you want?
Yeah, I think we've probably helped in the last few weeks with looking at her as more an attacking midfielder, and I think she's really took that position by the scruff of the neck and really given a lot with and without the ball. Real good moments of quality. I think I like having players who can play in a few positions. Sometimes the players don't like it so much, but because they want to play in one position. But I think it's a sign of an intelligent player that's able to play in multiple positions. And we have that with our midfield come attacking players. Our wingers are wingers. Our number 9 in Bunny is a number 9, but the rest of the players, like Mary, likes of Philippa, Laura Coombs, Dana, Vicky, they can play in a number of positions.
For you then, is this about picking up the momentum where you left off before the international break? You're on that fantastic run with your trip to Everton.
Yeah, we're going to try. I think it's it's always a tough game at Walton Hall, and Everton under new manager have done fairly well so far. So I think it's never easy, but we've highlighted a few areas where we may be able to exploit. We haven't had much time, same as Everton, coming back off international break. We've lost a day, obviously, with the game being brought forward 24 hours. So we lose that kind of extra capacity to do more. But I think the players now are in a good spot. I think, like we said previously, there's never a good time to have international break. But for us, I think it's just about getting back into the norm of what we do. And like I say, we'll be doing our utmost to try and get a result.
I know the last time I was here, I asked you about Jess Park. Well, she's obviously scored on debut now for England. She can't play, of course, but will you be using the opportunity to have a word with her while you're at Everton just to check in on her progress?
Yeah, of course. And I spoke to Jess after she, did the amazing thing of scoring for her country. Thought it was fantastic. Thought it was fully deserved. I think her performances have been really good this season. Again, it was a player that we looked at and was reluctant to allow to leave, but we really saw the importance of how highly we needed Sandy. But we've monitored Jess really closely, and I've got real high hopes for her going forward. We've managed to maintain a longer term contract for Jess before she left us, and I see her coming back here to have a really big future.
And just finally then, on Everton specifically, they have made no kind of secret of that. They're looking to effectively emulate where you are now, break into that top 4, break into the Champions League places, challenge for the title. How do you judge their progress from afar? What have you seen from them as a club over the last season or two?
I think it's really difficult when you're not actually in there. It's a big club for a start. I think Willie did a fantastic job when he was there. They had obviously a transition of a couple of managers last season. I think with Bruyne, he seems a decent guy, a decent coach. I think obviously needs time to be really assessed, and I think they need time to try and achieve that aim. And I think they need stability now. I think that's really important. I think I would say that about most clubs. I think stability is really key, and if you feel like you've got the right people there in charge, give them the best support you can possibly can, and then anything's possible. But it takes a bit of time, and I think it'll probably take him a couple of windows to get his team the way he wants it. And like I say, that takes a little bit of time, takes a little bit of investment, takes a little bit of managing. So, if they can get that right, then they have as good an opportunity as anyone else.
Thanks, Gareth.
Cheers, Ben.
Thanks, Ben. We'll move to the Zoom now, guys. Dan Henlon, do you want to kick us off there, please?
Hi, Gareth. Hope you're well.
Hi, Dan.
For whatever reason, Everton have obviously opted to use Walton Hall Park this week rather than Goodison Park. I think it's sold out as well. So how different is that challenge where you're playing against, a relatively kind of small basic stadium, if you like, with a big crowd rather than, playing in a huge open space at Goodison?
Well, it's different. There's no denying that. I mean, we've been there before in my first season, so we're aware. Well, I'm aware of what it's like. We've got obviously quite a few new players who won't have experienced it. So I think it's, at the end of the day, they've invested in the pitch there. I think that's the most important thing, that the playing surface will be decent. Outside of that, as much as it is nice to play in the big stadiums, all we try to do is concentrate on what happens on the pitch. And if we're given a decent surface to play on, then hopefully we have a real good chance of putting on a good display.
And with it being Everton, obviously, Sandy Mackay was in, your goalkeeping union this year. She'll have to wait for opportunities. But yeah, what she added to the team kind of on and off the pitch, because obviously, you lost a big character in Karen Bardsley with her retirement and, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think, Sandy's come in and contributed a hell of a lot. A hell of a lot to the goalkeeping department. Would have helped Ellie a hell of a lot. Also Chiara, and she says it like it is. Sandy, there's no airs or graces. She's really decisive in what she wants to do. She's really clear in her communication as well. And like I say, as much as we were disappointed to reluctantly agree to allow Jess to come, I think it just goes to show what we were potentially losing in order to gain. I think the goalkeeping department was an important area for us where we were struggling with last season. But now we have, 3 goalkeepers. Chiara's still improving a lot. Is really benefiting from turning professional and training with us daily this season. I think has helped her. And Sandy and Ellie are 2 big personalities and 2 good characters who are really going to drive on the performance of the goalkeepers this season.
And just one more, if you wouldn't mind. You mentioned Chiara there. Obviously, I think she was with File for a little bit last year during registration. But yeah, is that something that you might look to do again after Christmas? Because you've got such strength in that goalkeeping department. Well,
strength can quickly become a weakness. All it takes is an injury, and I think the step change for Chiara is going full time. Don't forget, when she played for us last season and did incredibly well in tough moments, she was basically still in education, very rarely training with us, and then expected to go and play. So I think it's a big step up for her, and we knew that would be a tough transition in terms of coming into training every day as a professional. So we'll constantly assess it and see where we are, but we're really happy with that area of the pitch at the moment. And like I say, the fact that Chiara hasn't made the pitch this season still doesn't go against what she brings and how it really helps us to perform in that area.
Cheers, Gareth. That's great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. We'll go Tom Gary from the Telegraph, please.
Thanks very much, Anna. Hi, Gareth.
Hi.
Just sticking with the goalkeepers, could I ask you how Ellie's doing mentally after a very rare mistake from her against Norway the other night, and are you expecting her to kind of bounce back from that with resilience and put that behind her?
Yeah, for sure. I thought she had an outstanding display. She probably was called upon too often to deal with situations, but she did it amazingly well. I thought she had a real strong performance, and I think the true test of character for Ellie was the next action that she received. The ball that came back to her after the goal was she dealt with it in a real calm manner. And I think Elle, like all of the other goalkeepers, are really aware of that these things are going to happen at times, and it's how you recover and it's how you react. But I have no doubt with Elle that her commitment and her calmness, especially, which I think is really important, and her belief in herself and the belief that we have in her, will stand her in good stead, and she'll be fine.
Thank you. And just sticking with the kind of theme of sense of character, how impressed have you been with your squad's sort of reaction and form since the first couple of games of the season? So you've now won 5 in a row and only conceded the 1, and to be on that run, given where you were sort of in September.
Yeah, but I don't think anything's changed dramatically. You know, a couple of personnel here and there, but I think it's just more time with each other. I think that's the key one, really. I think it's we had 2 tough away fixtures. We then go into a few home fixtures. We then have a period of time where we're working together for longer. I think I've always said that, and I think I was talking about it previously when I was discussing Everton, that we see the best things in any elite sport when there's a plan, firstly, a real good clear plan, and time for adaptation. When you change players or bring new players into the club, they need a bit of time, and unfortunately at the moment, because of the nature of the setup of the women's game with Euros, World Cups, Olympics, you don't really get a pre-season. So the more you can work with the same players, I think it gives you really good things, and particularly if you can get the right type of players in through the door, which we feel we're in a really good place at the moment with good personalities and also good players, and I think that's going to help the team in the long run.
Okay, Gareth, thank you very much. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Graham Falk, please.
Hi, Gareth, you alright?
Hi.
Just a quick one, really. Regarding Esme, obviously, another cap for her during the week. I think it's well documented the injury issues she had beforehand, and obviously that takes a lot of mental strength. But how impressed have you been by her and her sort of progression up into the national team on a regular basis now? Yeah,
really pleased for Esme, first and foremost, because I think it's really well deserved. I think she had some tough moments, obviously, with the leg break last season, and at that point, the injuries that we sustained were really tough for us to manage, and losing someone, I've never put an order into who was the worst one to lose, but I think with Esme, with her adaptability and playing in a number of positions, I think was a big blow. In saying that, we've always had an eye on her as a centre half. In terms of her profile, I think she fits that position really well, and I think what we're seeing at the moment is real good evidence of that, and confidence in her play, good in her distribution. I think still some areas to work on for sure, but she's got good players around her who are going to help her with that on and off the pitch.
Touching on the goalkeeping situation, like you said before, obviously you've got 3 really good goalkeepers there, 2 of them internationals. You've alternated with them a little bit. Do you have a number one in mind, and if so, who is it?
I don't like that term of number ones. I think that naturally happens anyway. But we want all of the goalkeepers here to feel valued, the same as we want all of the players here to feel valued. And some at the moment probably won't feel as confident as others because they're not playing as much as maybe others are playing, and that's natural and that's normal. I think trying to make them feel as valued as possible is a real big job of a manager and all of the staff. So I think I don't like to put a number on the goalkeepers. I mean, I think Elle's naturally carried that expectation of number one for the last 2 or 3 seasons, taken over obviously from Karen, who had that role for a number of years. But I think now the fact that we've got 2 goalkeepers in, or 3 goalkeepers with Chiara in the England setup, albeit at younger ages, but I think 2 goalkeepers in the full international setup is real good evidence of what we're trying to achieve. And they're both good characters. They know that there's going to be good competition along the way, and they're going to support each other whether they're playing or not playing.
And last but not least, Gareth, obviously moving away slightly from the game of the weekend. Obviously the World Cup begins this weekend, and you played for Wales I think 15 times. Obviously first World Cup for them since 1958. Will you be watching it? How much are you looking forward to watching Wales in that tournament?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's an amazing achievement for Wales. It's been a long time coming. I think in my time, we really struggled for qualification for the World Cup. We got close in the Euros, but I think, it's great. I think I'll be keeping a real watch on their group. I think obviously there's a real interesting big game to look forward to. So we'll see. I think Rob Page has done an unbelievable job over the last couple of qualifying campaigns, and really excited and interested just to see how this World Cup rolls out. Having it in this time of the year is obviously quite strange. We're used to having it in the summer for us. So it'd be interesting to see how the players perform, especially after coming out straight out of the middle of a season.
Perfect, Gareth. Thanks so much. You guys have a good weekend.
Thank you.